Hello everyone, it's Mike Levin. Friday, November 17th at around 8:40 a.m. and I was running a little early and I got so wrapped up in my writing that 28th Street went by and I was back at my good old friend Penn Station, and I'm like, Penn Station? And I haven't made YouTube videos in a while. I better hop to it or I'll lose that ability, and it's going to get too cold into the winter and I won't want to put my hand out here to hold that phone up. I don't use selfie sticks. People have commented on that quite a bit, but no, I just shoot videos when I am so motivated and have the time on my commute, which for people who haven't really picked up on it yet, I vlogged because of my commute. I mean, I admit that I do have the gift of gab, and you can just throw me a topic and I'll just start talking and have something to say on it. Maybe, I don't know, it's got to be one of my topics, something that interests me. And I don't edit. And this unedited style, which a YouTube commenter had just mentioned, is really, you know, the key to the vlogging. Not all my other media presence all over the internet. I am a search engine optimizer, so I am present in all kinds of places on the internet from many companies over the years that you may have run into and encountered, because I'm one of those SEOs that have, you know, consulted to the large companies, which is always one of the most ironic things. The people who need SEO the least often want it the most and have the least ability to act on it because of the lack of agility of their publishing systems. I don't want to tie it too into the Agile development movement, although there is undoubtedly connections. Things get sort of like cast in stone because you're publishing and you have this reach and there's revenues tied to it, and you don't want to interfere with it. But along comes someone who says, you could be getting this much more traffic if you just change this about your publishing. And people are like, oh no, I don't know. Things are working pretty well the way they are. And the larger the company, the more that effect is. And that's one of the things I deal with all the time in SEO. If you're not one of the techs, if you don't speak their language, talk about which versions of the Linux kernel are on their production systems, you're not going to win their respect. So not for that reason alone, but for many reasons over the years, I have gravitated more and more towards the technical side of things and have learned over and over the very hard lesson that technology has all these fuzzy little intricate details the more you zoom in and the further you go into it. And all that changes as soon as the world changes, as soon as something is different. Node.js hits the scene, or you know, React.js, or one of these other things that just changes the whole direction the flock runs. All your knowledge and know-how, some of it still applies, but for the most part, the very stateful stuff, the stuff that is tied to this moment in time, the way web browsers are today, the way the form factors of these devices are with their touch screens and the hardware playback players and all the nuances of catering to all these different hardware components of the platform. It's not the platform itself. The hardware is just a component of a platform. It's disposable. It's like thrown away years of your life. With small little bits you can salvage that applies to the next thing. But you're a lot like just a bunch of a flock running from one thing to the next, changing your direction, with members of the flock getting left behind every time they turn to chase the new fad. Oh, this is really bad audio on this road. We're just gonna forge through it, you know? This is what it's all about. This is life. I could go in so many directions with this video. I'll try and stay cohesive. So my not being on YouTube lately has been particularly damaging because things are really heating up and churning on my YouTube channel, mostly because of that magic trick where I take off my finger, which is setting in as my new piece of premium content out there, or not premium like people pay for it, but I'm certainly getting paid for it on the ad revenue it's generating. Not that much, but enough to let me know that the effects are actually indeed real. And so it's not that I feel I need to shove more YouTube videos out there. I just need to reassure my public that I haven't disappeared. I'm living on Staten Island now, and I'm rewiring everything in my brain, going from having learned, the FDR and the West Side Highway here in Manhattan over 10 years to learning, all the back roads of Staten Island, of which there are a lot. Talk about the fractally little details when you start to zoom down. So I'm remapping my brain there in another one of those cases of forget everything you know and whoosh. So, I fight against that effect. I fight against those things which collectively exhaust you, fatigue you, and eventually leave you obsolete in a field where you can't even, adapt to get the big salaries again. So I almost have a paranoia of not going obsolete there. So over the years, I've been paring down and refining my core tool set until I got to something that I was really, really happy with, that I feel will go with me for the rest of my career, which is at least 20 years, even as machine learning and artificial intelligence hits the scene in a real mainstream everyday way, which we see more and more with dedicated hardware for it reaching our phones so the AI can be distributed at the mobile level. Apple once again pioneers, and they sure have to, because they're not doing it in the hardware. I'm a Note 8 person, even though I'm shooting this on my 6 SE, I guess it is. I carry the Note 8 in my pocket. I love the stylus, I love the drawing, and I won't buy another large Apple phone, or even my first, until it has a stylus in it. I love the S Pen that much. So I think I'll wrap up here. Since my commute is different, my vlogging is different. Since I still have the time of the commute, it's going into the written medias on other things. So if you're not on my Twitter yet, go subscribe to me, miklevin, M-I-K-L-E-V-I-N. I didn't get Mike Levin there. I'm Mike Levin here on YouTube, so it's youtube.com/MIKELEVIN. If you want to follow me on Twitter, where I'm taking full advantage of the new 280 characters, Twitter has just become my media. After sort of despising it for the better part of 10 years because I couldn't cram a thought into it, now it's the exact right granularity unit for maybe publishing a book in paragraph by paragraph form. So we'll see what happens there. That's my latest project. I think it has some potential, and I'm here at the office. So thanks for all my YouTube subscribers, the people who are looking to me for the simple things like the magic tricks. I'll try and beef those up. I do all my amateur magic. My kid loves it. It's still about daddyhood. It's still about technology. It's still about adapting my transition from SQL to pandas for stupid data tricks. Everything is great and everything's going well. It's just I can't put my mug on this particular streaming video media as much as I used to be able to. So thanks for joining me. Hope to talk to you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe.